Dr. Ralph May talking about the Newman Sale is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Ralph, good morning.
Morning, Todd. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you with us here today. So, yeah, it's 2020. That means nothing is the same as it ever was, and that includes the Newman Sale, huh?
Yeah, I mean, this is our 51st year, and it's kind of a different time. I mean, usually people see the big tent up in the parking lot, and we have about 100,000 books in the lot, and it's a 3-day sale. This year we've downsized due to the COVID pandemic, and we're doing tomorrow from 10 to 2. We're doing a drive-through book sale now. Now, what we've done is we've taken our donations and we've looked at what the community really likes, like the high-priority items the community likes. And there's really the children's categories and the paperback categories are usually really desirable. So what we've got is we're going to pre-bag the books, which means these donations have set for at least 2 weeks. So they've been quarantined 2 weeks. Nobody's touched them. So we're making sure that these are safe books. We're going to pre-bag them, $5 a bag. So we're putting 9 categories together. There are 4 children's categories: pre-readers, early readers like kindergarten through 2, chapter books, which are like 3 through 6, and then teen and young adult categories for the kids. And then the paperbacks, we have 5 categories: adventure, mystery, romance, science fiction, and westerns. It's $5 a bag. It's pre-bagged, so nobody touches anything. People will drive into the parking lot through the Oakland entrance, the main entrance to the church, where the tent usually is. You drive in there. We'll give you an order slip. We'll be masked. We're asking you to wear a mask. We'll give you an order slip. You can pull over and check how many bags you want of each category. You pull up. We'll have lanes set up by our shed, and we'll have volunteers that you hand them your order and your money, which is $5 a bag. We take it, and then we'll put the books in your car for you or in your trunk. It's no contact. You don't have to get out of your car. So if it's raining, because we have remnants of the Hurricane Laura coming through tomorrow, it's no problem. We'll have ponchos on. We'll keep the books dry. We'll put them in your car for you. You don't even have to get out of your car. So it's contactless, so that nobody has to even, interact, which, socially, which the book sale usually is a social interaction. People are in the tent, people are in the basement of the church getting to associate. But this is different this year because of COVID. But we wanted to make sure, first of all, this is the only fundraiser for St. Thomas More, so that's very important. This is not going to even come close to what normally we would do, but it's important. Yeah. But more important is the community service. People come for these books. They value these books, and a bag for $5 is a pretty good deal. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the plans are that next year it'll be back in strength. And
next year we're going to be big. I mean, when you look at the number of donations that we're not able to get to this year because of the downsizing of the sale, and then what we'll get next year, it's going to be huge. I mean, we've already started to think about next year, and we'll start taking donations again after the first of the year. People can check the church's website, the STMUP website, for when we're going to start taking donations after January 1st. We haven't quite made up our minds yet because we're going to work out storage because we have so many more. But next year is going to be huge. This year is really just to keep the books going out into the community, keep people engaged, raise a little bit of funds for the church, and learn something through the process. Like we talked about this, we might get 3 people, we might get 300. We have no idea. This is a bold experiment.
Yeah. Well, normally the sale is on the 3rd Saturday of September. Why moving it up this year?
We decided to move it up simply because it would be easier to kind of fit it into the schedule. If we are very successful, we've considered maybe trying it again in September. So we wanted to kind of get a feel for that. We were ready to go, and so we decided to just go ahead. And then next year, of course, it'll be the third Friday, Saturday, Sunday, September 2021 for next year. So we decided to move it up a little bit just to see how it would go, and then go from there. So it was kind of just an experimental year.
Yeah. Well, so many people go to the Newman Sale and look for specific things. For instance, I always go and look for the history books and the American Heritage hardback books. I get a batch of those every year, and then the next year I get another batch, and what you do is you donate them back then after you're done with them. And cookbooks are always big as well. So those categories I know are very popular, but you can only do so much with them.
Well, we had to figure out what would be the most logical thing to do in terms of access to our what we call the back stack, which is the huge pile of donations that we store, and how much labor we had to do that. Part of the labor we use, it's very helpful, is IUP sports teams. Will come and help give us the labor we need to move that volume of books. And this year, of course, there are substantial limitations in that area. So I don't know if you haven't looked at me lately. I'm not a young man, so kind of carry a few things, but not as many as I used to be able to do. So we decided to go with something conservative that would enable us to be reasonably successful, and then next year we're going to go for the Gusto.
There you go. There you go. All right, so again, the hours tomorrow?
10 to 2. Mm-hmm. Just come into the parking lot at St. Thomas More like you would be normally coming in, and we'll take care of you.
Wear your mask. Don't even have to get out of the car.
Don't even have to get out of the car. And we'll be masked, too, so we're going to engage in all the safety protocols.
Beautiful. Ralph, we're going to have you back next week, back on the topic of COVID-19, and we're going to talk a little bit about anxiety and ways to handle that, because that's something very, very big. Just want to take a moment to thank you that you've been our go-to guy through this pandemic when it comes to issues of the psyche and of mental health, and we appreciate that. I did want to ask you one thing, though, and I didn't tell you about this before, but the one thing I wanted to ask you about is suicide rates are going up, and we're hearing that. I don't know what the numbers are in Indiana County related to previous years, but just let people know that there are many, many people who are out there who are trained to help you if you have suicidal thoughts, if you're suffering from any sorts of anxieties or depressions having to do with this pandemic.
Absolutely, Todd. September is Suicide Awareness Month, and the Suicide Task Force is going to be doing our virtual walk. But I want to remind everyone that the stress and desperation and frustration of the times is driving up anxiety and depression, increasing the suicide risk. Indiana has an integrated crisis response system, so if you need help, all you have to do is call 724-333-2470. It's 877. We have a toll-free number, 877-333-2470. That's answered by a therapist 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Beautiful. We'll talk more about that with you when we visit on Tuesday morning, okay?
Sounds great.
Thank you for being with us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great weekend.
You too, sir.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.